Welcome to Round 8 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for the 2012 Mobile One Grand Prix of Motorsport. Round 1 saw L1 Championship points leader Tristan Nunez start from the back of the field in one of his teammates' cars. Goetberg would take the green and lead to the checkers, while Tristan Nunez fought through the field to finish third behind John Brownson of Eurosport Racing. In L2, last year's champion Robert Sabato returned to lights with an impressive victory over Scott Tucker in second and Alan Nadal in third. I am now joined by Lights and ALMS LMPC driver Anthony Downs. But first, let's go on board with Daniel Goldberg of Performance Tech for a lap around Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
And here we are coming onto the front straight. Now this is a driver's track. This is a track that takes guts. For example, corner 1 coming up here, a flat out blind right-hander. You dive in, touch that apex, and then you drift out here. Corner 2 here, now this is also a very scary corner. In these cars, it's just a little lift, then back on full throttle. Find that apex, drift out here. Coming up to corner 3, you can get a pass done here if you set it up right. It's a very tricky corner. It takes a lot of patience. You gotta wait, and gently feed on that throttle. Then as you go through your gears, you're coming up here. This is corner 4, high compression, real fast dip. And then you brake, get the car settled down here for 5A and 5B. This is the most important corner on the track. Very little grip, very, very important to get back on the throttle as soon as possible. This leads you back onto the back straight. Gives you a chance to take off, a tear off, check your gauges, look in your mirrors. It leads into corner 8. Now this is another corner that just takes flat out guts. It's just a little lift and then back on the full throttle as you wind through corner 8. And then there's a little switchback for corner 9 that sets you up for the last right-hander, corner 10, on to the front straight. And that's a lap of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Car number 16, Tristan Nunez, will be leading the field off from pole for the start of round 8 with an impressive race lap record time in round 7 of 1 minute 15.990.
Wow, that is fast around this place. I'll tell you what, that seriously takes a lot of guts to do that.
Well, as we can see, the number 16 car of Tristan Nunez leading the field around here of turn number 9. Getting ready to come around turn 10 onto the front stretch here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And as the field is grouping up, I believe we're getting ready. The pace car is off onto the pit straight, and we are green here for round 8 of the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park Cooper Tires Prototype Lights. On board with 4th place Daniel Goldberg coming around turn 1. Boy, that's a really fast corner, and they're really packed together tight there, Anthony.
Yeah, that's nuts. I'll tell you what, that's a great start by Tristan. Look at that gap he's got already going into corner 2.
Oh, and look at Wilczek. He's smoking coming around corner 2. I would say that's not from speed, but from mechanical failure.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It looked like white smoke. It could be tire rub. Nope. It looks like when he got on the throttle there was more smoke. I wonder if he'll be able to keep going there.
Yeah, might have an engine failure getting ready to happen.
Oh, look at Bronson knocking on the door for Daniel Goldberg here, all over the back of him.
And we've got a great battle in the top 5 starting to shape up here with leader number 16, Tristan Nunez, sliding it around 5B. Number 10, Mikhail Goetberg in second. Third, Jerry Kraut. Fourth is Daniel Goldberg, and 5th is number 34, John Brownson, as they're coming down the very fast back straightaway, setting up for turn 8. We're going to see them start to hopefully pack back up a little bit, but Tristan's doing his trademark checkout on cold tires first lap.
Yeah, that kid can really fly on this opening lap. I mean, he's just about checked out. But we'll see if Mikhail can't keep up with him. He's showing great speed this weekend, and we'll see if he can respond to this.
Well, there's the first lap into the books, and it's Tristan Nunez leading off. We're looking at number 29, Rich Holt, in 6th place, a Performance Tech entry. Rich is a very fast driver, and he's one of the many gentleman drivers we have in the Light Series. These guys really do a lot to keep the sport competitive and active, and this development series is a fantastic series to be involved with. It really helps with the Mazda ladder program, and these guys are really using this as a way of either getting some good seat time or stepping up into the next level of the ALMS like you did, Anthony.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. And It's a good mix of some real young talent, like you've got up at the front there with Tristan, McHale, and Daniel. And then you've got some gentleman drivers, like you mentioned, Richie Holt. You got Dan Whalen and John Bronson, who has shown he has a lot left in his tank, and he's competing right up there with these young cats.
Well, we see the purple and white car of Darrell Schaff being really hounded by the number 88 car of Dan Whalen there, and the black L2 number 5 car of Scott Tucker has passed the number 22 of Robert Sabato for the lead in the L2 class. Tristan Nunez coming around turn number 1.
Look at that lead he's got already, Matt. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, he's really pulling out a hefty lead. I hope he's not putting too much strain on this engine. Of course, he's in a black and yellow car normally driven by Daniel Mancini, but Tristan's regular car had some engine problems, and teammates being teammates, Daniel Mancini loaned his car to Tristan to help him stay in that championship hunt and to stay in first place in the championship.
Oh, look at this. Dan Whalen's got a look, and he's going to make the pass on Darrell Schaff into corner 3.
Well, that's a great pass that Dan made there, and see that 22 car of Robert Sabato, and Schaff, he's taking a look to try to repass him. This is going to be interesting coming into 5A.
Yeah, look at that. Dan's holding him off. This is a good battle. 2 gentleman drivers, great guys, getting up there in years, but I'll tell you what, they can still hustle around here.
Well, this battle for 7th is going to be something we watch. One thing I love about lights racing is you get these battles within the overall between the L1 class and the L2 class and the gentleman drivers and the young guns. It really makes for some exciting racing, even in these short 45-minute sprints.
Yeah, you're right. That's one of the things that makes this type of racing special. You've got several different races going on within the main race. So here we've got the L2 of Robert Sabato, and then we've got 2 L1s behind him, Dan Whalen and Darrell Schaff. They are in 2 different races, but they share the track at the same time. It creates some really exciting passing and some dynamics that the fans don't usually see in most types of racing.
Well, we can see Tristan Nunez, leader, continuing to pull out that lead on number 10, Mikael Goldberg, as they come into the hairpin, and we see the battle for 3rd, number 55, Jerry Kraut, number 6, Daniel Goldberg. Daniel Goldberg, another fine driver. Jerry Kraut, no slouch himself. This is going to turn into one great, fantastic battle, I have a feeling.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. There's got some traffic there.
That's the Wilczek car, the L2. He's maybe that mechanical's still going to be plaguing him throughout this race.
Yeah, I wonder if he's it looks like he's off the pace.
Yeah, and that's when you have an L2 car who are, a couple seconds per lap slower than the L1s, and then you add a mechanical issue into it, it really becomes almost a moving pick sometimes out there for the L1 class. And
look at Tristan just pulling away from the field. He is really checking out. I think that, unless something happens, he's definitely the man to beat today.
Yeah, Tristan has got a multi-second lead on Goldberg, and Goldberg's a fantastic young racer, and we see the battle for 3rd continuing. Goldberg is really closed up on Kraut there. Don't let that deceive you there. At this speed, that's a very, very tight race.
Yeah, you're right. And this is Daniel's first time to this track, and it is a heck of a track to learn. It's one of those tracks that you really got to take your time getting up to speed, because like I said in the track analysis, it's all about guts, and you've got to trick yourself into believing that you can do these corners, and he's done a great job getting up to speed here.
As we come down the back stretch, we see Brownson off in the distance, running in 5th place. 3rd, Jerry Kraut. 4th, Daniel Goldberg, as they come under the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park Walk Bridge. The battle for 3rd is really heating up. Let's see if Daniel Goldberg can make something happen here within the next lap or 2.
Yeah, he's really just got to stay on Jerry here and try and make a mistake. The best place to set up a pass is that 5A, 5B complex. So let's see if he can stay on him and just get out of that corner a little bit better.
Yeah, we're on board with Daniel right now, really getting a good driver's perspective of what he's working with as they come across. And
look how close they are.
Oh, yeah, this is Daniel's really pulled up tight behind Jerry Kraut there, and let's see if he can make something happen going into turn 3.
No, not going to try it there. But then after this corner, watch, he's going to want to stay right on him, and then through 5A and 5B, he's really got to get on the gas a little bit earlier than Jerry, draft him down that back straight, and then pull out and make the pass. We'll see if he can get it done.
We'll continue to watch this battle as number 16 Tristan Nunez continues to lead here for round 8 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Welcome back to round 8 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda here from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Number 16 Tristan Nunez continues to lead in his L1 Prototype Class car. The L1 Prototype Class car has an Elan Motorsports Technologies DP02 chassis. The engine is a 2-liter 4-cylinder Mazda MZR, which produces 235 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. The top speed is 170 plus miles per hour. The easiest way to recognize the L1 class car is by the air intake located to the left side of the driver's cockpit. Scott Tucker continues to lead the L2 prototype class, which is a West race car chassis, either a WR1000 or WX10, a Kawasaki ZX10R engine, which produces 175 horsepower at 12,500 RPMs with a top speed of over 160 miles per hour. An easy way of identifying the L2 cars on track is that they are smaller than the L1 prototype class, lack the air intake over the cockpit, and generally have a higher pitched engine note.
Yeah, Tucker is really an iron horse. He's actually running 3 different cars this weekend. The L2, a GT3 Porsche, as well as an LMP2 with the ALMS.
Yeah, Scott Tucker really does a lot of racing when he comes to these ALMS weekends, and you know, I would guess, Anthony, you could probably speak better to the experience at a ALMS weekend that you get from lights and then going to LMPC. Does that help you in getting from a little bit more track time at that same weekend?
Yeah, certainly. You know, Scott uses all those other series to get that track time in. And it's tough with the ALMS to get a lot of track time because you remember you have to share that car with at least one co-driver. So you're always, you know, trying to divide the time.
And we see the battle for third, fourth coming around here. That's 55 car of Jerry Kraut, followed by the number 6 of Daniel Goldberg and John Brownson in the red and white car. And we're on board with Daniel Goldberg. Oh, he pulls right up on Kraut going out of 5B. He's really going to stay on his tail and try to maybe get Kraut to make a mistake. And if he can get him to make a mistake and slip up, he's going to pounce on him.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jerry's doing a great job of getting out of that 5B. Daniel's right on his tail, though, that draft. You can really see him closing up. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move here, but he's right on it. Yeah,
he's peeking to the inside a bit there, he's thinking about it. But number 8, turn 8 is a high-speed corner, and so you better be sure when you make a pass there.
Yeah, that's right. It is darn near flat out for these guys, so there's really only room for one car to go through there. You've got to have that pass made before you get to the beginning of the corner.
And on board with Goldberg again, you can really see the gap as they're coming around, and he's coming around in 5th gear, turn 1, and going into turn 2. He's really going to try to stay up on him and look for any opening he possibly can to make a move on Jerry Kraut. I mean, this is really a fantastic battle for third place.
Yeah, it really is. Kudos to Jerry Kraut, a fellow Minnesotan, I may add. Really not making any mistakes here. I think Daniel is probably a little bit quicker in certain parts, but it doesn't look like he's able to get around him.
Yeah, and as we can see, they're going around turn 5A, and Brownson is caught right back up to him.
Oh,
it's going to make this a 3-way battle for third place, 4th place, and 5th place. So
yeah.
We'll see who gives first and who's able to make a pass. If Brownson's able to put a little pressure on Goldberg, that might relieve a little bit of pressure on Kraut. And, this is going to turn into a very exciting battle within the entire race.
Yeah. And John Bronson, one of my old teammates, certainly loves this track. The faster the corner, the more he likes it. He actually used to do some Olympic-level downhill skiing, so that speed factor is not, oh, and look at that. Oh, Daniel tried to sneak it in there in turn 10, but I was saying that Bronson used to do speed skiing, so speed is his friend. He loves it. The faster, the better.
Well, I've been it's quite enjoyable to watch Brownson. Since we started this at Sebring, he was really kind of an animal out on the track. He's I wouldn't say fearless, but Brownson's really a fantastic driver, and he's very aggressive, and he'll push a car all the way until it's going to possibly give. And so Daniel Goldberg, he might be looking at trying to get around Jerry Kraut in front of him, but he better watch his mirrors because number 34 is coming fast.
That is exactly right, and John is just waiting to pounce. He's waiting for one of these two to make a mistake or to, as long as they keep battling, John's going to be right there in the catbird seat, willing to take advantage of any mistakes.
Yeah, now Brownson we see drop back just a little bit there. These cars are very, I would say, not really fickle, but when you're talking about a spec series like this, it's really all down to the driver. There is some team preparation, but the slightest mistake really has a dramatic impact, especially when you're talking about such a tight battle for position as we have here.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Matt, and that's one of the things that makes this series so great. There's very little that the teams and drivers can actually do to the car. They want it left up to the drivers, and that's exactly what we have here. We've got a three-way battle for third place, and these three drivers are just not making a mistake.
And we see number 16, Tristan Nunez, continuing to lead, followed by Mikhail Goetberg and the number 10 car. And I believe you have an interesting story about Goetberg's helmet.
Yeah, that's right. In the first few races of the year, Mikhail's helmet was just a plain, I believe it was just white. And I asked him about the blue kind of tiger stripes that he's got on there, and I was expecting a fantastic story, and he told me, actually, I left it with the crew, and when I came to the race, they had it painted for me. So thank you to the crew for painting his helmet. It looks great.
Well, I guess he won't be leaving his helmet unmanned again with his crew. And we see the number 41 Momo L2 car from Alan Nadal being lapped by Tristan and Goetberg. As Tristan's coming around turn 10, he's still got a hefty lead on Mikhail Goetberg as they're making another. You see him going around turn 1, and Goetberg seems to be in a very comfortable position. Maybe he's hanging back a little bit. Maybe he's just enjoying second place. We're all competitors out there, but when Tristan's got a very fast car and he's a very fast driver, Mikhail's going to be guarding his position and guarding his engine and guarding his mechanical situations, so that best place to finish last is by having a mechanical and blowing an engine.
Yeah, that's right. And he is, I've seen him do it in some of the races earlier in the year where he just gets a comfortable lead and then just kind of maintains that lead. But Mikhail is certainly keeping him in check. He is not letting him get too far away.
Well, we just saw there with the onboard of Daniel Goldberg the speed difference as they were lapping the number 41 L2 car. You really see the speed difference between the L1 and L2. That's a couple of seconds a lap. That's quite a speed difference in some of these turns.
Yeah, it really is. And traffic plays a huge role in ALMS as well as in this series. You can get lucky and you can get unlucky. It can bite you and it can really help you. So you've got to be aware and set up those passes as you see the cars coming, because you're right, there is a heck of a speed difference. And if you get caught behind a car going into corner 1 here and corner 2, I mean, it'll just extend the lead for whoever's in front of you.
So it looks like Goldberg's trying to get a run on number 55, Jerry Kraut, as they're coming down onto the front stretch. He's taking a peek every once in a while coming through the turns. I think he's really just sitting there hounding Kraut, trying to get him to make a mistake, and Kraut's staying steady. He's really an Iceman right now.
Yeah, this is a great battle. Those three cars are just stuck to one another. It is awesome.
Well, I love these battles within the overall race. You've got Tristan pulling out a hefty. Oh, and number 22 car of Robert Sabato, engine covers off. Looks like he's done for the day.
Yeah, that is not good for him. That's too bad.
So that'll promote number 41, Alan Nadal, to second place. And Scott Tucker continues to lead in the L2 class. So Robert Sabato, who won round 7, the first race here from the weekend, unfortunately will not be able to repeat this weekend.
That's too bad. And here we see, looks like Kraut and Goldberg are pulling away a little bit from Bronson.
And the battle for 7th and 8th between Dan Wayland and Darrell Schaff continues. Another one of those battles within the race. These two gentlemen drivers we spoke of earlier, they're really quite closely matched, and cars being very closely matched, being a spec series. This going to turn into a fantastic little battle on their own. And what's interesting is to see the battles within the race as they begin to catch up to each other. So you have to keep that in mind. And we're looking at number 29, Richie Holt, and the number 5 L2 car of Scott Tucker. Again, L2 cars are slightly slower than the L1s, but the lead L2 car can really stay close up with a mid-pack or slower L1 car.
Yeah, that's right. And you saw him try to tuck in there and get some draft. And here comes the leader about to put Daryl Schaff a lap down. So he's got to be careful in passing here. If he can get him on the back straight, that's perfect.
And we can already see that Tristan's had to check up a bit coming up onto this slower traffic, and that's going to allow number 10 car of Mikhail Golikberg to get right up to him. Let's see if Golikberg can continue to capitalize on this as he gets around Schaff. And Wayland is going to be the next car, and that's slowing up Tristan. He's catching him at the wrong time.
Look at that. Look how close they are right now.
Oh,
and Mikhail gets through. So they're both through.
Right up on Tristan, and that slower traffic really tightened up this lead battle.
Oh, look at that. Tristan did not want to see that.
Well, we're getting ready to go to another commercial break here. So as this battle continues to unfold for first and second, and we watch the third, fourth, and fifth place cars go at it, we'll be right back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for round 8 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda.
We're back to round 8 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda from the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
And we see number 16, Tristan Nunez, continuing to lead. But if you can't tell from the sound of that engine, it sounds like Tristan's got a mechanical problem developing. Looks like he's going to be down on power, and we see raindrops on the camera lens.
Oh, boy.
So this is getting ready to get very, very interesting.
Mikhail looked to the inside but couldn't get it done. And yeah, this is not a track that you want to be on slicks if it gets wet, because as I said, it's fast, it's flowing. These slick tires do not react well to rain.
Well, this is going to get very interesting with the rain, and Tristan seems to be down on power. Mikhail's not, so this is going to make the battle for the lead very, very good as we're going into the final minutes of the round 8 here from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Yeah, and Mikhail smells blood. He's all over the back of him, and watch for him to make a move here.
I wonder how slick this track's going to start getting. You know, with that light rain starting, that light rain starts to pull the oils out of the top of the asphalt, and it gets really treacherous right at the very beginning.
Yeah, I've run here in the rain, and it is scary. It goes from being a really terrifying track to an absolute nightmare.
And Tristan's able to keep Mikhail at bay. He's going to have to start working really hard if he's going to maintain this lead.
Yeah, and here we see, it looks like, Tristan's engine may have something going wrong with it, but it looks like he's got pretty good power down the back straight.
Mikhail's continuing to close up on leader car number 16, Tristan Nunez, as they round turn number 9. Coming around turn number 10 onto the front stretch. It's Tristan Nunez continuing to lead, and Goldberg drops left wheels off the track. Tristan comes around turn 1, continuing to lead. Second place, number 10, Mikhail Goldberg overall. As Tristan Nunez continues to lead, let's look at a replay of Daniel Goldberg's fantastic pass for third place that was made just before our last break.
All right, here we see Goldberg coming onto the front straight. Let's see what happens here. Looks like he's back quite a ways here. Oh, a little bit quicker through there, and there's traffic. That is, I believe, Alain Nadal. And look at that, crowd just gets checked up. Oh, what a move by Daniel Goldberg. Just shoves his car down to the inside of quarter 2. That is a heck of a move.
And he used that L2 car as a pick, and we see Dan Whalen and Daryl Schaff continuing their battle for 7th place. You know, again, it's one of those battles within the race, and you see that rain off in the distance. It's looking mighty ominous. Looks like we got some heavy rain on the way to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Yeah, look at that. John Bronson also got through when Jerry Croak got balked, and I don't even see him in the shot, so it looks like Goldberg and Brownson have checked out away from Jerry Kraut. There he is. Yeah.
And Brownson's really pulled up on Goldberg, so he took that opportunity when that pass was made. Brownson's going to push it. He's aggressive. He's going to go after Goldberg. He wants that podium step.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's going to be all over the back of him here. And that's just what I was talking about. John has been sitting back there kind of watching these two, and he picked his spot, as did Goldberg. And they took advantage of that lap traffic and just sliced right by Jerry Kraut.
And Brownson's picking back up on Goldberg as they're going through the S's, going around turn number 9, heading up to turn 10. He's going to try to pull up on him. He's going to try to set up a pass, maybe going through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and John is so fast through corners 1 and 2. As I said, he loves fast corners. So we'll see if he can, and look at that, they're coming up on traffic. We'll see how this plays out.
That traffic of Wayland and Schaff is definitely going to play a role in this third-place battle between Goldberg and Brownson.
Yeah, let's see where they catch him here. Let's see if I'm sure they see him coming, and we'll see if they can get through before we go up to corner 5 here.
Yeah, if they catch him at corner 5, that's really going to – and Schaff's trying to make a pass on Wayland as Goldberg's coming up. This is really going to make it difficult on Goldberg as he's trying to get through this traffic while and he's going inside of Schaff at 5A.
Look at that, very decisive. Gets through, makes the pass. Let's see if John can follow him behind.
And John's got stuck behind the 94 of Daryl Schaff, and that's going to definitely slow him up as he's going around him on the back stretch. He's going to have to – and here comes an L2 car that they're going to have to deal with. So we've got 2 battles within the race catching slower L2 traffic.
Yeah, and I saw Daryl just check up there and he said, go ahead, guys. Very professional of him to do that.
And Goldberg gets around, they all get around the L2 car going into turn 8, and so they're going to be, now Brownson and Goldberg are split by the number 88 of Wayland, which has allowed Goldberg to get away as he's going down the front stretch to complete this lap.
Yeah, and look at Kraut. Kraut has caught back up to this group as well.
Well, now we've got that battle for third. It's a 3-way battle. We've got John Brownson being caught by Kraut. So there's the 4th place battle, and Brownson's going to try to get around Wayland and try to get back up to Goldberg. Wayland's holding him up.
Yeah, John needs to make a move here on Dan. They are teammates with Eurosport Racing. Dan Wayland is, it looks like he sees him there, and can John make the move coming into 5 here? He's got to get around him.
Well, Wayland's obviously checking his mirrors. He needs to just move over to the side and let the faster traffic by, teammate or not, and causes Brownson to overshoot. He overshoots 5A, trying to get around his teammate. This is where communication really comes into play.
Yeah, John just tried to force that, and I think he just locked him up and went off a bit. We'll see if he can catch back up to this group. That's really too bad to see.
Brownson's got to be furious in that car, having to make a move like that to get around a teammate and then causing him to lose position and lose time. He's just got to be fuming.
Yeah, it's a tough balance because Dan's fighting for a position there too with Daryl, and he's got every right for to race his race as well. And it just looked like John had caught him at the wrong time and couldn't make that pass.
Well, we see the first place battle for Tristan Nunez and Mikhail Goetberg. Tristan obviously has had some mechanical issues here. He's got a loss of power, so he's not able to pull away from Goetberg as he is usually able to do. Goetberg staying right up with him, and it's going to make it for a very interesting battle for first as we see the number 5 first place L2 car, Scott Tucker, coming out of the 5 ABC complex, heading down the back stretch. He's got a comfortable lead, and he could probably maybe put it back on cruise control just a little bit. The second place L2 car of Alain Nadal is quite a distance behind him.
Yeah, and Scott just needs to hit his marks, get into a routine here, keep the car on the track, and he should have this one in the bag.
As we watch Scott Tucker coming around turn 8 going into 9, we see Goetberg's catching back up to Tristan Nunez again as they come around turn 1, getting ready to head into the very, very fast turn 2. Really see them coming by quick. From that camera angle, you really get an appreciation of the speed there.
Yeah, they really fly through here. I'll tell you what, these cars have so much downforce. They can go around these corners so fast, and that's part of the reason that it's so much fun to drive in this series, because you get so much bang for your buck. They're so fast around tracks like this. It's unbelievable.
And, you know, these L1 cars are really, well, I'll finish that thought later as we see Brownson has finally gotten around Wayland again. Hopefully Dan kind of pulled over and let him by this time instead of making Brownson force the issue. And Wayland has been caught back up by Schaff.
Yeah, and we got good battles here. It looks like there's some dust. Somebody may have just put 2 wheels off there. Great battle here between Dan and Daryl. And let's see if John can catch back up to that group.
And Brownson's a very aggressive driver, so I imagine he'll be able to catch back up to Jerry Kraut and Daniel Goldberg. But once we see these 3 cars together, it's going to really make for an interesting battle. And again, here's Tristan Nunez catching lap traffic and Mikhail Goldberg getting around Elaine Nadal. So that didn't hold them up, but I see a little bit more of the darkness encroaching. Looks like that rain is coming.
Yeah, I saw some sprinkles on the camera lenses. You can see them there. This could get very interesting if it starts to rain. You never know. I mean, that's going to be a wild card that none of these guys are probably going to want to see.
Yeah, Tristan is pulling out a little bit more of a lead on Goldberg. That lap traffic helped him. And looking over here at Daniel Goldberg's in car, we see him catching back up on the number, I believe that's the number 29 car of Rich Holt, maybe putting him a lap down. Yeah, that's number 29 of Rich Holt, dispensing of him very well. That's, again, teammates, a little bit of respect there probably from Richie Holt, allowing Goldberg around so that he doesn't hold him up.
Yeah, and look at the camera lens. It is starting to rain here. Hopefully these guys can just hold on.
It's getting very interesting. On slicks, rain beginning. That track's going to get treacherous, and it's going to get treacherous in a hurry.
It sure is. These guys are just now they're going to need to maybe change their line a little bit. If moisture starts to develop on this track, you do not want to be on the racing line.
So, Anthony, what adjustments would you make here with this rain starting to commence here at Motorsport?
Well, you got to stay off the racing line because that's where all of the oil collects, and water and oil, as you know, don't mix. You also got to maybe go a gear up in all of the corners and back your braking points way up. Turn your front bias on your brakes and stay off those painted curbs. Those are treacherous when they're wet.
Well, let's take another commercial break as we are continuing to watch Tristan Nunez in first place, holding off Mikhail Goldberg. We're going to go to a commercial, and we'll be right back for round 8 for the Cooper Tires prototype lights powered by Mazda from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Welcome back to a wet Canadian Tire Motorsports Park as Tristan Nunez continues to lead, followed closely by Mikhail Goldberg as the rains are getting heavier, promising an exciting and interesting end to round 8.
Here we see Tristan Nunez, number 16, still out in front. Tristan's having a heck of a race, really in control of this, hasn't made any mistakes. And I got to say, I think Tristan has a bright future, either in sports cars or whatever he decides to do. You know, he's young, he's well-spoken, he doesn't make mistakes, and he's fast as heck. And also the fact that he's 16 doesn't hurt either. I think that we'll see a lot more of him, hopefully in sports cars in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think Tristan also has a very bright future. You know, Tristan's out here setting lap records, and he's winning races, and he's car number 16 years old. It's kind of his mantra as he slides through 5B. So, you know, even in wet conditions on slicks, he's still just manhandling that car and keeping it out in front while he's down on power.
Yeah.
But, you know, Tristan's a fantastic driver. There's a lot of fantastic drivers in the light series, but it's really great for a development series like this to be able to be available for drivers like Tristan and Mikhail to really go out there and hone their skills and show teams in the ALMS and even in other racing series what they can do and what their potential is.
Exactly.
It really is a fantastic opportunity for them as we see Tristan crossing the start-finish, going through turn 1, continuing to maintain his lead in these very tough conditions, under power, while on slicks being chased by a fantastic driver in Mikhail Goldberg in second place.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like it's starting to rain a little bit more. I don't see any moisture, you know, on the track itself, but boy, if this rain keeps up, these guys are, oh, and look at that, Daniel's got a handful of the wheel there.
And he loses it going through turn 10 and steering backwards as he's keeping it off the walls. What a fantastic job keeping that car off of the walls there on the front straightaway. That was really an amazing job, and he's getting it restarted, but he's lost 2 positions right there, just like that. Slides it out. He stays out in front of Richie Holton, maintains 5th place. So 3rd to 5th, just like that. It takes one small mistake here at Motorsport, and you're losing a couple of spots.
Yeah, and I think that's, just a combination of the moisture and the slick tires. I think that was just the water caught him out. He got maybe a little aggressive on the throttle. And here we see, it looks like Jerry Kraut and John Bronson battling for 3rd.
The aggressive John Brownson is going to, he's really going to stay on Kraut, and he's going to push him. He's going to push him all the way until Kraut makes a mistake. And Brownson peeking on the outside of 5A and 5B. That's a kind of an interesting way to approach it, but I guess Kraut would never expect to see Brownson peeking on the outside there, so maybe it's a tactic to try to throw him off his line and get him to make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly, because you're not going to be able to make that pass, but if you just show your car and kind of rattle the head of Jerry Kraut, I think that's what John Bronson's trying to do. It doesn't look like he's got a run on him enough here to make the move into 8th. Nope.
He's staying up on him. He's keeping it tight, and we're seeing a lot more raindrops on the camera lens there. It's really getting wet, and this is a really tight battle. It's going to really get interesting here. Rainy conditions, still on slicks, high-speed cars, high-speed corners. This is really getting interesting. And Brownson's staying right up on Jerry Kraut.
Yeah, look at that. He is right on his tail. And look at that. He turns to the outside and touch the brakes. Look at that. He's got it done. And what a pass.
Outside of turn 2.
And he holds on. That was awesome. What a pass.
In the rain on slicks on the outside of turn 2. That is just, that takes some serious guts. And we see the L2 class leader, Scott Tucker. He's got it on cruise control. He's really maintaining that lead. And Brownson, he spins.
After that fantastic pass.
Whalen, right into the, boy.
Into the tires.
And it's a good thing Brownson got out of there when he did, because that was in the same line that Whalen just came in on.
Yeah.
That could have been a nasty accident.
You're right, Matt. And look at that spray. It is getting wet. I think that we're going to have to take a look at if these cars can stay out there. I mean, they are not meant to be running in this kind of moisture. Look at that spray that he's generating.
Yeah, the rain is just coming down, and they are on slicks, and Tristan's really starting to back off the pace, and this is really going to make the end of this race extremely interesting.
Yeah, you bet. We'll see here what if they can get that 88 Dan Whalen car out of the way. I think we'll stay green, but it looks like they're really off the pace now because of that moisture. And look at that car twitch.
And Goickberg's dropped back substantially from Tristan. This is if Goickberg can stay up on him, this could be a great opportunity for Goickberg. If it stays green and Tristan has to back off, Goickberg could make a pass for the lead.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Now this is going to show who's got more car control. This is when it's all about the feel of the car. When is it going to break loose? How much input can I put into the corner, into the steering?
Tristan's car is twitching around and missing apexes. This is a real opportunity for Goldberg if he can capitalize on it. And we see Goldberg, another spin by Goldberg.
Same corner,
same spot, and that's going to really cost him. But he gets the car refired again, and he's going. And Brownson spins in 5th place.
Yeah, it is getting slick out there. I mean, look at these cars. Everybody's going off, and there's a huge spray, as you see, as Daryl Schaaf's car comes by.
And there's the leaders. Tristan and Goickberg is right up on Tristan.
Oh, look at that.
He's looking to the inside and the outside coming around turn 10. He's going to try to make a move. If this thing stays green, Goickberg might be
full course caution.
Full course caution. That's going to, oh boy, Goickberg was almost there.
Oh, he was. He certainly was. He was right alongside him. That would have been fun to see this last lap. But I tell you what, when it gets that wet and these cars are on slicks, it is dangerous. And I'm glad that they put that full course caution out, because Yeah, like this car here is stranded, and that's just a very dangerous place for Dan Whalen.
Yeah, Whalen's out of his car, and there's nowhere for him to go as a driver if another car spins out in that area. And we're seeing a replay of John Brownson's spin. You know, he really backs it into that tire. Well, no, he doesn't actually make contact with the tire wall. He comes close. He comes very close, but shows you how slick it's gotten out there.
Yeah, exactly. And these... Yeah, we do have rain tires in this series, but since there are no pit stops, it's really, it's really tough to go into the pits to change tires. You would lose, a lap for sure, maybe two.
Yeah, and as we look at a replay of the earlier incident where John Brownson spun and Whalen comes in right in the same tire marks, right across the same line.
That could have been trouble. I'll tell you what, I'm glad that John got his car out of the way because Dan had a full head of steam coming in there, and with that moisture on the track, you really don't get much grip, and there wasn't much stopping going on.
Yeah, well, a few seconds difference, and that could have been a very, very nasty incident. As we see the safety crews out there getting Whalen taken care of and getting his car removed from the track. And the Mazda pace car is leading number 16, Tristan Nunez, followed by number 2, second place, number 10, Mikhail Goekberg, and John Brownson, you see there, in number 34 car. And it's just too nasty out there. I don't think they're going to be able to get this thing restarted with the time we have left.
Yeah, we'll see. I tell you what, it's just way too much water to expect these guys to be on that fast track with slicks. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be out there right now.
Yeah, it's quite wet out there, and looks like we're going to be rounding final turn number 10, and we're going to be finishing this thing under caution. Too bad we couldn't get back to green. As we come to the line under caution, it's going to be Tristan Nunez taking first place here for round 8 from the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, followed closely by Mikhail Goekberg and John Brownson.
What a race from Tristan, and a nice finish by Mikhail as well. John Brownson rounds out the top 5 after those 2 spins, but nice solid effort.
Let's take a look at the final results. We see car number 16, Tristan Nunez, coming away with the win for round 8 after a hard-fought race with number 10, Mikhail Goekberg from JDC Motorsports. In third is Goekberg's teammate, the number 55 car of Jerry Kraut, followed by car number 6, Daniel Goldberg, and car number 34, John Brownson, rounding out the top 5. In the L2 class, we see car number 5, Scott Tucker of Level 5 Motorsports, taking the class victory, followed by number 41, Alain Nadal, and car number 15, Alan Wilzig. Car number 22 of Robert Sabato has been excluded from the race results for round 8 due to a post-race infraction. In the championship standings, Tristan Nunez continues to lead the L1 points over Mikhail Goekberg and John Brownson in third. The L2 championship is led by Alan Wilzig, followed closely by Level 5 Scott Tucker and Alan Nadal in third. Congratulations to Tristan Nunez and Scott Tucker, as well as to all of the competitors at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in what was a very eventful and exciting round 8, ending in wet conditions. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to join us next time for the Prototype Lights rounds from Road America.